Good morning. I wonder how many of you know what Clabber is. Clabber, Clabber, Clabber. You know, like clobber, but with an A. I'd never seen the word before last week, and but last week in my search for just to write Mennonite to help me learn Pennsylvania Dutch, I stopped at a farm where you can buy raw milk. I think I explained. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. And I didn't find the right Mennonite there, but I did buy a gallon of raw milk, $4 for a gallon of raw milk. And I thought, why not? I hadn't bought raw milk or even drunk raw milk, I don't think, in, oh my, I lose track, maybe 40 years, 45, maybe 50 years. And the last time I bought it was right at that farm, but it was about 50 years ago. So I bought it and I put it in the car and I thought, I'll do something with it. And on I went. Well, anyway, when I got home with it, I wondered, oh boy, it's been refrigerated. I better get that in the refrigerator right away. You know, I'm so innocent about what I was doing. And I put it in there, and I got so busy because our water pump failed, and the plumber came, and I did a whole series of videos about that. But eventually, at the same time, I decided, well, I'll see if I can make cottage cheese. That ought to be easy. I've watched some videos of it, and I knew you had to put it in a pan and warm it up slowly, but not too hot. And I'd sort of seen that many times, and I said, well, I'll try that. And I even had time. My wife was going to town, and I had her get me some rennet. RENNET. Very possibly, many of you don't know what rennet is, and many of you probably don't know where rennet originally came from, and still does, some kind. Rennet is it's made up of a calf's stomach, and it doesn't take very much at all. And you put it in milk to coagulate it, to get it to form the curds. And I knew that, but I didn't know how much or anything like that. The Brazilians had taught me about this, and they said when they make cheese, they just take the calf, a stomach, part of the stomach from a butchered calf, and they just keep it draped over a fence or somewhere. They just keep it there, and when they want to coagulate their milk, they just dip it in and then take it back out and put it back over the fence because it's got just the right bacteria in there to get that milk coagulating. And so that was rennet. And when I went to make the cottage cheese, and I read the recipe, I'd gone right over something before that the woman mentioned that put some Clabber in it to acidify it, she said in this video. I should give you the link to the video. And I said, now I also knew that you could coagulate milk if you'd put vinegar in it, or some acid, a citric acid, or like lemon juice. If you'd put that in it, it would coagulate very fast. If you'd do that, I knew that. I didn't want to do that. I was going the rennet route, and but she said put some Clabber in it. And I rewound it, and I even put the what do you call it, the text under it, closed captions, to say, what did she say? Clabber. She didn't even explain what Clabber was. She said, it'll help to put some Clabber in there, and then you can put your rennet in later. Well, here's Clabber. Once I realized what Clabber was, I just immediately made some. I've started to make it. Now, it takes a while. The easiest way to explain it is if you understand sourdough, it's like the starter for sourdough. All it is raw milk put in a jar with a loose-fitting lid on it. So it probably doesn't even need the lid. I mean, no, it doesn't. You could just lay a cloth over it. It's just sour milk. Not sour milk, raw milk. Just left on the counter, not in the refrigerator, just left there. And you can leave it there for 3-4 days longer. That's what Clabber is. I asked my wife, she was born and raised on a dairy farm, and I asked her, "What do you know what Clabber is?" And she said no, she'd never really heard of Clabber. And I had to look it up and figure it out. Well, I didn't have Clabber to use, but I did use the rennet. And amazingly, I managed to make cottage cheese. This is my cottage cheese, and it's not bad. It's not bad. Um, but I did it so haphazard and so wrong. I mean, a lot of them say you got to raise it to just 84 degrees, and if you go past 114 degrees, it's too hot. And, well, I know. I mean, there's the coagulation, and then there's the cooking of the curd, and cheesecloth. And she got me some cheesecloth. And once you've got the curds, you put the cheesecloth in a colander and pour your curds in, and the whey goes out. You give the whey to the pigs. I put the whey that I had left down here by the furnace, and the cats took their good old time. But this was a refreshing new drink for them. So I have Clabber, I have cottage cheese, and now you know what Clabber is. And apparently, no, not apparently, from what they say, I should, as soon as I get my new version of a new gallon of raw milk, which I'll get tomorrow Wednesday when I go to Roaring Spring. I'm just going to be regular now. I'm into it. I should take a spoon of this out and put it in a new jar of Clabber, so that the next jar of Clabber will have already had a start. And I guess it takes 3 or 4 feedings like that, generations of Clabber before it really is good. But Thursday, when I get home, I'll have, and I'll know enough not to refrigerate the raw milk. I'll have a better shot at making more cottage cheese. Now, in the process, I've learned that if I would take this and put it in one of those lard presses with cheesecloth and press it, I could make what's called farmer's cheese. Well, you don't even have to have something fancy like that. If you squeeze it or press it or put weight on it in cheesecloth, compact it, it'll make farmer's cheese. I'd never heard of farmer's cheese, and hard cheese. And so I've learned a lot of stuff that, is so elemental. But I imagine most of you don't. Most of you, I predict, don't know this. Don't know this stuff. Bye for now.